Hi, this is Emily Vesseland, editor-in-chief of the Zing Report and senior content editor for Jewelers Mutual. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you will enjoy it as much as we did. We have two fantastic women in conversation about jewelry. Melissa Magsaysay is a journalist for many, many, many publications, including the Chicago Tribune, Business of Fashion, the Zing Report, LA Times, Women's Wear Daily, the list goes on. And we're really grateful that she has agreed to and has interviewed one of the biggest names in jewelry, Arielle Gordon. They are both in Los Angeles and had a really fun conversation. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Everywhere we look, our world is changing faster than ever. But the change was always coming. While disruption is never easy, legacy is born from challenge, and hope flows from the connection with our customers, the strength of our communities, and the love of our family and friends. Jewelry is the thing that brings us all together, marking our milestones, lifting our hearts, and reminding us why we do this. 'Cause it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that zing.
That's why Jewelers Mutual launched the Zing platform, the easy-to-use, one-stop shop to navigate our changing industry. With fast and free access to best-in-breed services, solutions, industry tools, and information, the Zing platform is an all-in-one platform to connect, explore, and discover. For everyone in our industry, it's the jewelry marketplace for today and tomorrow.
And the Zing platform offers something for everyone. Transparent access to a world-class diamond marketplace. A simple step-by-step appraisal engine tapping GemWorld's deep expertise, as well as a place to find fast, secure, and cost-effective shipping solutions. What's more, it makes completing everyday tasks easy.
When the world zags, we zing. At Jewelers Mutual, we've been doing this for over 100 years, and we're just getting started. Harness the power of the industry and unlock your potential. All you gotta do is zing.
Hi, Ariel. Thanks for doing this. Welcome to this little Zing Zoom, where we get to talk to you about your business and the industry and what you've got cooking. I've heard you've just moved to the Bay Area, and it seems like your company is growing exponentially. Tell me about the last, maybe 6 months or so as business and things have become a little bit more back into the swing of things. Tell me how you're doing.
Totally. Well, let's see. I've lived in the Bay Area for 5 years, and I spent the first 3 of those years commuting back and forth from Piedmont to downtown LA, where my jewelry company was based and where I do all of my big production. And, I was traveling 30, 40 weeks out of the year. I've got 2 young kids. It was just like really unsustainable. And then COVID hit, and then it was 2 years of no traveling. And so that was also really unsustainable. And I think one thing that COVID taught us is that we can be the architects of our lives, and we can do the things that we can craft our world to be more sustainable and work for us. And so I think, when the time was up for me to move my office, it made the most sense to move it up here to where I live. And we still keep all of our casting and production with our vendors in LA. I've been working with them for almost 15 years.
Wow.
So, but leaving them feels like a departure I'm not willing to take yet or ever. But the whole office staff and I are now up here in Berkeley, and we moved in here about 6 months ago, and it's an amazing space. I'm so excited to be here.
It's beautiful, and I love the bunnies.
Yes, little bunnies.
Well, I love that you say, a big learning out of COVID, a silver lining, if you will, has been that we can be the architect of our lives and then obviously our businesses. What do you feel has been the most important sort of priorities for you, both personally and then also for your business, as far as we talk about architecting?
I've been in this industry for almost 14 years. And so I've got some pretty solid roots underneath me, which is amazing, both from like a production standpoint and a brand awareness standpoint. But, you know, in order to keep things sustainable for me personally, for the company, you know, I just realized that I had to make some choices of how to structure the operations, and it was really daunting because I really, so much of my identity, you know, is wrapped up in LA, and you know, I'm so close with so many of my vendors. I mean, we like show each other pictures of our kids, and we, you know, we laugh together, we cry together, we stress out together. You know, like they're a really big extension of my company. So it was really important that I brought them into this process in a way that felt collaborative rather than being just like thrust upon them. And so, you know, I didn't lose any vendors in the process of moving, which was really important to me. And, you know, there's obviously different learning curves. I mean, when my office was on Hill Street in downtown LA, I would get something back and it would need to be repolished, and I could just run it back down to the, you know, down the block and drop it off, and the guy would fix it and back it goes. You know, so there's some just like a lot more shipping going on. But I think everybody's really risen to the occasion, both on my team and then with all of our vendors. So it's been both easier and harder than I thought it would be.
But, sure, but a great learning and lesson to so many of us who have had to restructure, reprioritize, and maybe even had like an opportunity to do so throughout the last 2 to 3 years, right?
I mean, it's like, you know, I was like, there's no way. I'm such an LA brand. It's like, it's part of my branding, like made in LA. Like, how can I move it? It's like, well, I can still be made in LA, but but that doesn't mean that I can't also have, you know, a headquarters up here. And, you know, you just have to be a little bit more lenient and flexible and creative with how you think about things. And all of a sudden, all these opportunities open up that you thought were like never going to be on the table.
Exactly. Absolutely. And speaking of, how do you stay inspired creatively? I mean, I love the tour of your office. You have such whimsy in your branding, in your color schemes, and clearly around your office, and it certainly comes through in your pieces. How do you manage that, the sort of whimsy the whimsy mixed with like the AGJ every day, which of course is like a tagline or hashtag of yours, but it is true. I mean, I wear a lot of my AG pieces every day. So how do you kind of strike that balance between the whimsical side of you and the everyday side?
Well, I definitely appreciate, and part of me aspires towards like, you know, minimalism and having just like a uniform and being like very chic and kind of buttoned up. But that is just like not my reality. I tend to like pile it on, junk it up, add a bunch of color, you know, and more real more is more mentality. But, you know, I think the building blocks of my collection are really beautiful 14 karat pieces. And then the way that I make them more playful is with all of these personalized elements, you know, whether it's enamel or engraving or birthstones or pearls or, you know, some sort of way to break up the sea of gold that's, you know, and I used to do a lot more with colored stones, but then those sort of really don't track that as well for me anymore. Pearls do really well for me. Enamel is like a really big seller for me. Things with birthstones. So I feel like I bring in those elements, and then that breaks up. So it's not just this like blanket of gold chain and gold charms or gold earrings. But when in my interiors or in my surroundings, I definitely like to surround myself with things that make me happy. And usually they're very brightly colored and playful. You know, I try not to take myself too seriously, but I do always feel that like jewelry is like the thing that can make your outfit feel super put together. You know, like you could be wearing sweatpants or an outfit from Zara, but if you've got like great jewelry on, then it elevates the whole moment.
What do you think about jewelry trends? I mean, I know you could apply trends to any area, but I'm of the mindset that, of course, I think with bridal, there's a lot of trends. I mean, do you see and or get influenced by trends when you're designing?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not so, I'm not so seasonally driven where it's like, you know, oh, this season everybody's doing clay beads, or this season everybody's doing tennis bracelets, or, you know, whatever that is, you know, because I only come out with 2 collections a year, and because I kind of design something and then want it to be evergreen in the collection, I'm really trying to make pieces that will resonate, and because they are fine, you know, it's not like fast fashion where you're like, oh, I'll buy that for $50 or $100 or even
Sure.
$300 or whatever. It's I try to be a little bit more classic in how I design things, but you know, I do like, what am I wearing here? I've got my imperial disc, which is engraved with my kids' names, and then I've got like a big, fun, playful 14 karat gold fridge magnet, which, you know, was definitely inspired by playing with my kids and their blocks. And then I've got this is a Peruvian opal with rhodolite garnet, little strawberry charm. So
that's, you know,
gorgeous. I keep it kind of playful, but it's all still 14 karat. It's all still, I mean, I sleep in this, I shower in it, I work out in it, I breastfed my kids wearing it, and they twirl it around their fingers, you know, like I really put my jewelry through the motions to make sure that it's, you know, truly livable, because I don't change my jewelry every day. I want to be able to put something on. I sleep in it. I'm fully in it all the time. And I want, I think if you're really driven by trends, then you don't really commit to the kind of timeline of the piece in the same way.
It comes across. It's working. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this Zing Zoom and sharing more about your amazing brand.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.